Hey, quickly before we get into the video, I quickly wanted to share some news about the Signal/Premium group we have. Because over the last couple of weeks, going into the summer, but also the rest of the year, we have started drawing up some plans for spot accumulation of coins like Bitcoin, XRP, but also Solana. So for example, how we started was buying Bitcoin. We actually had limits right here from 100,000 into 98,000. Went in big, are making a lot of profit right now. So if you're interested in spot accumulation plans like that, outside of future signals, consider joining. But that's it for now. Just wanted to let you know about that. And now let's get into the video. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on Bitcoin, your daily update, of course, this beautiful Saturday morning. Although beautiful, it's kind of gray right here, but hopefully you're having a great Saturday morning or afternoon. So yeah, let's get right into it. I mean, the price action over the course of yesterday was quite volatile. We actually had some volatility here and some volume coming in. But ultimately, Bitcoin remains rotational within some sort of a newly created, a very short-term value area right here, right? So that's basically around 106.9 and 107.8 thousand, of course. So those are the main levels where I'm kind of, looking at a potential breakout. I would say to the downside, does it really make that much sense to take a look at the value area low or the concrete resistance or concrete support right here at 106.5? Value areas can be great, but I would say 106.5 is the main area to watch. But I mean, it's weekend. There's a potential for news to cause some sort of a breakout, because a breakout is what we're waiting for, and that's also what we've spoken about. Basically the entire week, right? Because basically the entire week, Bitcoin has been rotational right here. Starting Wednesday, I mean Monday and Tuesday we had that grind up. Then Wednesday we got up to this area, and now we're here. And we're waiting for this balance right here to break, and that balance can break with manipulation over the course of the weekend. But then I would not trust it. I think ultimately looking at Bitcoin, we're waiting for a breakout, so either this or this. If we get a breakout in the weekend and there's no news supporting it, I'm going to assume it's a fake out, right? So if we get a breakout right like this and there's no news, I'm going to assume that it will revert back down into the range over the course of Sunday, Monday. When we actually get some volume back into the markets. But for now, I'm going to have to assume, and it's very boring, but I'm going to have to assume that we will remain within this range, right? And then the main thing that can happen, and that's also, and by the way, the volume right now is also quite low, so that's in accordance to what I'm saying right now as well. And you can see in a 1 hour time frame that the trend line is not really working anymore. The 4 hour trend is catching up. So that might be interesting. But the main thing that can actually affect the markets and can cause some bullish or bearish pressure, and I think this is something you need to be aware of in general, and this is also something I've spoken about in the premium and the signal group we have, is this whole potential new flare-up of the trade war and all the trade deals, etc., right? So yesterday there was a bit of a flare-up between the United States and Canada, and things like that can happen, right? And right now, equities are rallying. The S&P 500 has reached new all-time highs, which is great, right? That's great for our stock portfolios, which hopefully you're building as well. But there's definitely room for some sort of a pullback right here, especially if we get some sort of bad news regarding, for example, the EU and the United States in terms of their trade deal. And here at the end of June, beginning of July, but also throughout the summer, I think at some point of time that's going to flare up. Right, so negative headlines can cause that breakdown. Positive headlines can cause a breakout as well, right? I mean, if we all of a sudden hear that the EU and the United States have made a deal, I mean, those are I think the two biggest economies in the world, right? I mean, I think the European Union as a whole is actually still bigger than China, but I might be wrong about that. But at least it's the third. Right, so that's major, right? So things like that is most likely going to make the price move. And in situations like this, especially with the imbalances we still have left to the downside, first of all at 105.4, and then lower towards 104 and 103, 103.6 being a big one. I think it's better to assume that we're going to get that breakdown, right? So that we're going to see something like this. So ultimately, I'm fairly neutral and I'm just waiting for confirmation. But I would say something like this, with a potential, if the news is very bad, to do something like this, I'd say that's best to prepare for and best to say, I think that's most likely. So that's what we're going to end with. Hopefully that helps, but that's it for now. So thank you for watching. Take care and bye.